Okay, so what I wanted to make a video of is the process it takes to get from a square block to a round smooth piece. And the most difficult part, I think, is starting from the block piece. Because what it does is it kicks up a lot of chips before you get to where you can start making a smooth cut. Now what I'm going to do is make a video and show you the process that it takes, because I'm going for the sharp cornered edge where it's constantly flipping and hitting my tool, my insert, and this is where it gets dull. And this is where you chip off pieces of the insert or your steel tool if you use steel cutting tools. But I like to use carbide tips because they tend to last longer. Now, it is a challenge for making them last long on stone or acrylic type pieces. So what I've learned over doing a couple of pieces is that I have to go really slow and not try to cut too much off at one time. Now, when I'm cutting wood, it's not much of an issue as it is when I'm cutting acrylic, because wood is not as brittle or as dense as the acrylic is. So I'm not at much of a risk of putting chips inside of my insert. Or I'm not as much of a risk as, if you come in look closer, you see how rigid this is? So when this was cut on the end, it makes those chips. So when I'm cutting, I just started making one turn with this one. As you see, I started making a turn and it's starting to smooth out. Now, as I go further and further, when it starts getting round, it becomes easier. However, if I'm trying to feed into my material too fast, I'm going to chip off a lot of that. And that's what I want to prevent from doing, because I don't want any of these holes inside of my material once I get down to the diameter that I want it to be at. Okay? So my son is going to film me while I'm turning this piece. Usually I'll turn this and I may get this one down, but I'm just going to do this one piece right here for time's sake, and so you can see the process of turning down to where it's smooth. Because you got to go so slow the entire time, because if you rush, you're going to start making big chips in it, and you can't fill in acrylic the same way you can do wood. I can't get acrylic particles necessarily and fill in those holes. Now, if I purposely drilled a hole and I got some dust and I wanted to fill in a hole and make a different color, there's a process to do that, but that's a different story. But filling in acrylic is not as easy, and it doesn't look as neat when it's on accident as it would if it was with wood. All right, so here we go. And right now I'm turning at about I like to be at about 3,000 RPM or more, maybe 3,000, between 3,200 when I'm turning it. So I can just go in just a little bit. And if you watch, what I like to do is put my finger along the line of my guideline. You see how I run it? That's the way I like to run it. And I like to hold my tool here and run that line all the way down, because I like to try to keep a smooth line. Of course, we're human and we're not going to make a straight line like we would if we were doing a CNC machine. However, we're going to stop messing with that, son. However, you just do the best you can with it. Alright, so I put it in here. I like to keep that guide. I use it as a guide. remember, it's going to sound like that because I'm turning it from a square to a circle. But once I get down low enough, I won't be chipping my part off like that. And right now, I'm not as concerned with going with a continuous straight line as I would be once I get this moved down into more of a cylinder type shape. So right now, I'm just, and you'll be able to tell a difference. See, right now I'm still getting chips off of it. And that's letting me know that it's not completely round yet. You see? I got a round edge and I still have a lot of flat surface. Now my next couple turns is going to start to get smoother. It's going to get smoother and smoother as I get closer and closer into it. Now you see how I'm getting strings? See how the strings come off? This is the kind of turn that you like to do. I want you to know that when the material, this all heats up because you know friction causes heat. So once the heat builds up, it's going to make this a little more brittle. I guess you can make it actually so soft to where the material starts smearing a little bit. But you just got to go slow and you got to take your time and not try to go too deep. And if you notice how I made a continuous cut, now that's going to take a little practice. It's going to take a little practice at doing that. And you got to trust your hand and your body with knowing how smooth the cut. And you got to listen to the tool. Now I showed in another video how I angle my insert when I'm making a cut. Now so when I'm making this cut, I'm not going to have this straight. I'm not going to have it straight. What I'm going to do is, if I'm going from left to right, I'm going to slightly tilt it. And then I'll make the cut. Why? Because I'm not trying to take on all the material at once on my insert. Alright? So I want to take in a little bit as I get on the insert and then go to the rest of it. So I'm going to go this direction this time. I also listen for the sound. Because the harmonics on it makes a big difference. Sometimes the harmonics will let me know if this has come loose sometimes, because sometimes it'll back off and you got to tighten it back up. At other times, the harmonics of the tool cutting the insert, of the tool cutting the blank, will let me know if I'm feeding it in too fast, or that I have a bad angle, or that I'm trying to cut too much material at one time. And that's something you got to pay attention to, because anytime you have a loud noise, usually, that's not a good sign. You don't want a loud noise. You want it to go smooth as possible. For instance, you see the chatter? And now you see how I start cutting back smooth again? Did you hear that? That means I was going too quick. So now I got to find my angle again. And that's what I want to hear. I want to hear it smooth. And of course, you see how when I'm cutting it, I tend to go deeper. Hey, I'm not a machine. I'm not going to go straight across. However, I know when I need to pull up, because when it starts chattering too much and making a lot of vibration, I know that I'm going too deep or try to cut too much material with my insert. So what I do is I back out, come across and cut it, and then I come back in, cut it. You know, and I keep doing it until I get to the desired diameter. Did you hear that rattle? That means I was going a little too fast. Now I'm going to come back the other direction. Tightening this up because I hear the vibration in it. I want to stop it. It lets me know from the sound I can hear that my tailstock was not tight enough against my mandrel. So I'll tighten that up and let's continue. One thing about this acrylic is really messy and it sticks to everything. Like static electricity. Alright, so from here it's pretty much smooth sailing. As long as I'm not going too deep and too fast, I come out with a good part. This is going to be another thin blue line pen, and I'm going to put it on a semi-automatic bullet type click pen. and I will make a video and show you what it's going to look like. Earlier I had some molten lava pins, molten metal pins that I made, and they're already sold and gone. I've already packaged them up. I wish I had thought about it, because then I could have showed you a picture of them. But anyway, I'm going to make these, and I just want to show you how I get it from the square to the bottom, because sometimes you can make a huge mess. One of these times I'm going to show you how to do things correctly, and then I may end up having a big huge accident on something I had done. But so, I'm going to put this on a pen. I'm going to make another video, and I'm going to show you guys what this is going to look like when I get done. Unfortunately, I didn't take a picture of... my son is going to probably let me know how I can add a picture to a video or something like that, just so I can show you what they look like. So anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching. Be blessed, and don't forget to subscribe. All monies are donated to Beyond Brotherhood and the Vine. Thank you. God bless.